Hi everyone, it's Belinda Weaver here and this is my regular Friday Periscope. It's 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's actually Thursday night where I am in California. And today I'm going to be talking about the 3 things you need in place before you become a full-time copywriter. So the 3 signs you're ready to actually go full-time as a copywriter. So I'm just going to flip the camera around. Yay! Hi everyone. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the 3 signs that you're ready to become a full-time copywriter or any kind of freelancer for that matter. And thanks for the hearts that I'm getting so far. Anytime you hear something that you kind of like, give me a few hearts and I'll know that this is the kind of information that you want. So I thought I'd start this Periscope by talking about a little bit about my story. So on the Copy Detective blog on my website, copyrightmatters.com, this week, I actually shared a recent interview. I was interviewed by a guy called Yarrow Starrig. 4 seasons in Melbourne today. It's always, isn't that always the way? But I was interviewed by a guy called Yarrick, who has a website called The Entrepreneur's Journey, and he asked me a lot of questions about how I got started and how I made the transition from having a marketing day job. Thanks for sharing it on Twitter there. How I made the transition from having a marketing day job to being a full-time and in-demand copywriter, and then making the next transition to being a trainer, coach and mentor, which is where I am now. So that was a really, really in-depth interview and I encourage you to have a look. Thanks for sharing the link to the entrepreneursjourney.com, but you can also see it on my website, copyrightmatters.com. So basically I started my career in IT and I probably did 8 to 10 years in IT and then I got an opportunity to do a bit of marketing work and I discovered that that was probably the thing that I should have been doing all along. I really, really love marketing and I love, it's really easy to say I have a passion for marketing, but I find it so incredibly interesting, and what that means is I'm always intrigued and interested in learning more about how to create effective marketing. That's really helped my copywriting business, as I'm sure you can imagine. But anyway, so I made actually the switch to marketing and I found that extremely rewarding. But then I got to a point in my life where, thanks Greg for sharing that on Twitter, but I got to a point in my life, picking up the story again, where I felt like a change. I didn't really like my job. My husband and I were talking about starting a family. I lived an hour out of Melbourne in the hills of the Dandenong Ranges. So the idea of having a baby and commuting to another full-time corporate job, it kind of wasn't appealing. And you know what? I find a lot of the students that join my copywriting masterclass are kind of in the same boat. Maybe it's not exactly the same story, but they're not very happy where they are and they're looking for a change. Now, I didn't know what that change looked like until I went to a sales presentation and I heard a woman called Bernadette Schwert talk, and she was talking about being a freelance copywriter, and to be honest, I didn't even know that was a thing you could do. And I felt like I'd been hit like a bolt of lightning. I suddenly realised that being a freelancer, a business owner, was something that could actually, yay to Bernie too, right, she's a freaking legend. And I realised it was something that would tick a lot of boxes for me. In control of my own destiny, I could work from home and I could actually pursue a part of the marketing job that I love to do most. Now, is there a part of your job, if you're looking to transition, or even if you're not, is there a part of your job that you love doing right now? Maybe you can share that, but maybe just think about what it is you love about what it is you do every day, because there has got to be some things that you love. We spend a lot of time working, so that's an important thing to think about. So basically I went back to my office. I had a fire in my belly. I knew I had a new direction all of a sudden. I signed up to a copywriting course and I did that while I was working full time, and I started making plans to make my exit. Now, a lot of people, this is something that I mentioned in the blog today. Robbie says, I love the creative side of my work, which is fantastic. And I have to admit, I think I'm the same. I'm loving that more and more, being able to free up the creative side of my personality. But basically I started making plans, and we're getting into now the heart of what I wanted to talk about, because some people start their freelance career just sort of saying, I knew I wanted to do it. I had a few savings in the bank, and I just quit my job and I started. Now, if that works for you, then that's amazing. But that's not my way of doing things at all. I'm too organized. Mum might say I'm retentive, but I couldn't risk failure just for the lack of planning. So, what I started doing was working in my day job. I started Registered Copyright Matters, and I started making plans on the side. So here are some things that I did while I was working in a full-time job to start transitioning to my new passion, which I still have. It's nearly 7 years later. So the first thing is I got educated. So I did a copywriting course. So, and I started reading blogs. So they're really important things to do. If you want to make a change happen, you have to get yourself educated about that place where you want to be. So that's the first thing I started doing. Then I started practicing my new skills whenever I could. So for me, I was in marketing. So I got to write copy all day, every day. I was the marketing strategist, but I also had to execute my marketing plans. So I came up with a strategy. I thought we should get some ads together. So then I had to write the ads, and that let me practice copywriting for ads. I thought, the sales team need a new brochure. Thanks, Robbie. Robbie says such a solid plan. And you know what? This is all about planning. I'm all about planning. You don't have to make your exit strategy a total leap of faith. So I'm talking about practicing my skills. The sales team needed a brochure, and I was like, perfect. I get to practice my brochure writing skills. And I knew it wouldn't be perfect, but I knew I had enough confidence in my skills to at least put something out there that would help the team that I was supporting as the marketer, and still get some great results for the company I was working for. Now, if you don't have a marketing day job, and you want to become a copywriter, there are still going to be lots and lots of opportunities to practice copywriting skills. Or if you want to become a different kind of freelancer, look for everyday opportunities where you get to practice the skills that you want to be able to sell later on. So that's a big thing I did all the time. And the next thing was I started getting on social media. I registered all my profiles. At first it was just Facebook. I started posting tips because one of Robbie says kind of the safe risks to take. That's exactly right. I'm all about safe risks. I joke with my friends, I can be spontaneous with enough preparation and planning, and I can take risks with enough planning. It's exactly the same thing for me. So, when I got on social media, I knew I wanted to be the copywriter that people thought of. So I kind of started doing content marketing before I knew it was even a thing. I started sharing tips and my knowledge about copywriting on social media. It was just Facebook, and then it was Twitter, and my followers grew. It was before social media got really profit oriented. I just want to quickly say thank you for the hearts that are coming up here. It's great to know that you guys are finding this interesting. But the basis of good content marketing is becoming known for being generous and helpful, generous with your knowledge, and helpful for people who are looking for help, not just immediately sending people an invoice when they ask you a question. And that's what you want to have a reputation for, being an expert who is generous and helpful. And that's really the foundation of content marketing. But I just started posting tips about copywriting on social media because I figured my target market was small business owners, and they were looking to find out more about copywriting and how they could do it. Now, the cunning part of this plan is because when people realize that what they want to do is a bit harder than they thought it would be, they usually go and hire a professional. And that's why blogs are so fantastic. Share your experience, share your knowledge, share the techniques, explain them in as much detail as you can, because people often find that it's a bit harder than they thought it was, and they will hire you. Thanks, Robbie. Robbie says, that's why I follow you, still incredibly generous. And I appreciate that, Robbie. Thank you so much. It's one of the core values of Copyright Matters is generosity. I really want to be very free with my knowledge. So I started sharing the tips in tips on social media, and that started building relationships, and I started building my network. I contacted people who, yeah, that's a great tip. Oz Wonder Dog says, give them the tools, they'll come back to you for help anyway. That's exactly it. So then I started building relationships and I started building my network. I started contacting graphic designers and website designers because their clients often need copywriting. So when you're starting to build your relationships and your network, look for people who have clients who are your clients, and get in touch with them. And because more often than not, they're the people who need your services and they don't want to have to shop around. What they want to be able to do is refer their clients to someone they can trust. And when you spend time on social media and offline as well, actually going to face-to-face networking events, so scary but so important. When you do that, people don't even bother shopping around. You are the copywriter that they know. So, they're the big things that I did. I got educated, I practiced my skills, I started building up relationships and networking on and offline. But then, you come to a point, you say, am I ready? Am I ready to quit my day job? This is a funny part of my story because what I did is, there's a very liberating moment when you resign from a day job, especially to become a small business owner. You really want to do backflips out of the office and say, yeah, I'm out of here, and maybe not like that, but sometimes that's what you want to do. But you can't, you absolutely can't. And what I actually did is I called the MD of the company into a meeting room and I presented it was like 15 or 20 minute pitch. And I basically told him that by him hiring me as a freelance copywriter, he would still get all his marketing done for the company, so he wouldn't have to hire anyone else, which is expensive. All the customers would still get all the information, the marketing information they need for the sales team to then convert them into sales, but they wouldn't have to hire anyone else. And I got my new copywriting freelance rate paid. The upshot was that whole package would save the company upwards of $20,000 a year. Now, naturally, he was really interested. So on one day, I quit my day job, yay! And I walked away with my first retainer client. So the tip there is to look for opportunities on how you can take your boss or your existing job or the people you know with you when you leave in a very nice professional way. Nice work. Thanks very much. I was wondering. So the heart of this Periscope is the 3 signs you're ready to take the next step, which is quit your day job and become a small business owner. And these are the 3 big tips I recommend. First thing, you got to plan the exit. So the first sign is that your pipeline, your sales pipeline of leads and inquiries is getting replenished regularly. So I knew I was ready to quit my day job when I was having a regular trickle of inquiries coming through. Now, I wasn't booked out. I was working evenings and weekends. I couldn't take that much work on. But the point was that the marketing work I was doing was giving me a constant stream of inquiries and leads. Thanks for the hearts, everyone. So is your pipeline being replenished on a regular basis? Because when it is, that tells you that your marketing efforts are paying off. The next sign is, are you converting those leads and inquiries into dollars? Are they becoming customers on a regular basis? Now, one tip I was given is that if you're converting every single customer, every single inquiry into a customer, your prices probably aren't high enough. So that's something to think about. But you want to be converting at least half of all your inquiries into customers, because that tells you that your marketing process is replenishing your pipeline and that your sales process is converting those leads into sales. And if you can do it on a regular basis, then you're set. Then it's just a matter of scaling up the process, yeah? So the last sign is, are they paying? And this is about your internal business processes. So what you need to do is you can make sure that you're doing the project, that you're getting your clients to love the copy that you're doing. That means you're getting them through revisions and you're getting the work proofread, and your customers are loving your work sick at the end, and they are paying your invoices. So that's all about the brief, the revision process, the project sign-off process, and your account keeping process, making sure that all your project admin is ticking over. Now, that can be something that you practice and you build up and you finesse the longer you're in business. But that is a key sign that you're ready to take the leap. So I'm just going to quickly recap on those. Is your pipeline of leads and inquiries getting replenished on a regular basis? That's number one. Are you converting those leads and inquiries into customers? Sign number two. And the third sign is, are people paying at the end? Are you moving them through your internal admin processes to the final invoice, and are you getting some cash? So they're my 3 signs that you're ready to become a freelancer, with some storytelling along the way. So, these sessions are meant to be interactive. Do you have any questions for me? And if you'll see on the link on the Periscope, www.entrepreneurs-journey.com, that's the full interview with Yaris Darak. Now, it's a long interview and there's a lot of good stuff in there. I really kind of generously shared my knowledge and experience, which is something we've just been talking about. And you can also see a few extra thoughts of mine on copywritematters.com, which is where my blog is, The Copy Detective. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the people who shared this on Twitter. So as I said, you just press the little man at the bottom and there should be little social media things come up. You can share the Periscope on Twitter and people will be able to watch the replay. You can give me some more hearts. Thank you so much for the hearts that have happened so far. I love those little hearts coming up. Feed my ego here. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you very much, Greg, for tuning in. So one thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be recording these. Great content. Thanks very much. I really appreciate that, guys. You can kind of feel like you're talking to yourself, so I really appreciate the feedback. So I'm recording these. They'll be on YouTube, and I will be running these Periscopes every Friday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you're at Friday and you're at lunchtime, or we're like me, Thursday night, and you want to skive off work for a bit, tune into Periscope. I'll be here. So take care. I'll see you next time.